So we're going to talk about what happened after our daughter had the step procedure performed. STEP stands for serial transverse enteroplasty. That means that they lengthened her bowel by making alternating horizontal cuts in her distended portion of her bowel so that it could be stretched out and lengthened and also made thinner where it used to be very distended. Before her surgery, she was NPO, which means that she was not able to take in any feeds through her intestine. She wasn't getting any food at all. It was all done through her IV feeds, through her central catheter. And after the surgery, she was quickly able to move up on her enteral feeds. We left the hospital a few days after her surgery.
It was like 2 weeks, right?
A week or two after surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And she was at 35 milliliters per hour. When we went home, we were able to go up 1 milliliter per hour each day, as long as she was tolerating it well, which she did pretty well for a few weeks. We didn't go up every day, but about every other day I think we were going up on feeds. She ended up getting up to as much as 42 milliliters per hour. And at that point, it had been about 2 or 3 weeks after the surgery, and she started vomiting at different times during the day, mostly at night or early in the morning when she was still in her crib. So she made a lot of progress very early after the surgery. She'd gotten much further than she ever had before on her feeds. And then she started having a problem with vomiting, and it became something that she did daily. Her vomiting went on for a few weeks, and then the doctor proposed inserting a GJ tube, which is a tube that goes through her. It starts in her G tube. There's a hole in her abdomen that goes into her stomach directly, and then the tube continues through her stomach, through the duodenum, and into her jejunum. The idea behind that is that if the stomach is filling up with milk or fluids, and that may be what's causing the vomiting, then we're going to bypass the stomach, and the feeds are entered directly into her intestine. So the doctors made a few attempts to insert this GJ tube, which normally is not a very difficult thing to do, but because of the structure of her intestine, the way that it is built, they had problems keeping the tube in there, and so they made actually 4 different attempts. The last one was
Via endoscopy.
through an endoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
And each time that they inserted the tube, within a day, it came back out. And so the tube actually went back into her stomach. It came up from her intestine, went back into her stomach. And so when we were delivering feeds into her J tube, which we thought was going into her intestine, it was actually going directly into her stomach. And the vomiting continued. It was probably worse because in addition to the feeding that was going directly into her stomach, she also had a tube coiled up inside of her stomach, taking up more space. So the doctor decided to not use the GJ tube and just go back to using a regular G tube, which just delivers the milk directly into her stomach. And so we did that, and we ended up going back, scaling back on her feeds to reduce the volume and to see if she would do better with tolerating her feeds. So the doctor recommended going back to 30.
35. 35 during the day, 25 at night, or something like that, right? That's what I got.
And we tried that for a day or two, I think, and then we actually just went back down to 25. Something much easier for her to handle. And we've been at 25 for the past about 3 days, and she's tolerating that pretty well. She's had a few very small vomits, usually about 3 to 5 milliliters, only about once a day. And that usually happens after we squeeze her stomach in one way or another, just through normal daily activities. So her stomach's still very sensitive, but she seems to be able to tolerate the volume that she's getting each day pretty well. We haven't yet gone up from 25, but I think we may be able to go up in the next few days.
Also, she's under motility medications. She's taking the Augmentin and erythromycin. And we, of course, doing the bacterial overgrowth regimen, which is every 10 days of the month. We do that. And she recently increased the Augmentin and the erythromycin, like a 0.5 ml in each. And that seemed to be helping too with the vomiting. And also she was getting, what is it called?
Ranitidine.
In her IV, and that supposedly helps with the acids in the stomach or something like that. But apparently that stopped working, and so the doctor recommended to stop that and to start Prevacid via the G-tube, and it seems like that's also working. So having all this increased in dosage and trying the Prevacid, that seemed to be helping with the vomiting. She still vomits at least once a day though, but it's very little. It's nothing like before. Like she used to vomit like 3 times to 4 times a day, and it was like 15 to 30 mLs at once. So yeah, and we are doing Flagyl with Bactrim. We switch it every other month. The first 10 days of the month for bacterial overgrowth. We are also doing probiotics at night, which is Culturel, which our doctor approves. I guess that I don't know if it has helped or not. I'm not sure. But we still do that. We did notice that Bactrim made her dump a lot. She had a very high ostomy output. A lot. So we did not like that. But Flagyl seems to be doing okay with her so far. So, what else?
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
It's been 2 steps forward and 1 step back, which is the way things always go with shortcut kids. But in the end, we're 1 step farther than we were before we took 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So, I'm making progress.
Somehow, yeah. And she is not losing weight, which is a good thing. She's staying pretty steady with her weight. And yeah, so we'll see how she does in the next few weeks. It's been, 2 months, 3 months since surgery? Right, and this is how, so we went up really good, and then we took a downward spiral, but we're going back again. So that's how it's been going. We'll see how our next few months bring us. So we just wanted to share with you an update, and that's it. Hopefully you guys are doing good with your kiddos. Alrighty. Bye-bye.